Oh, the mindset of today's modern women.
Oh, unless you're offering to pay for the babysitter, I'm not going on that date.
Oh, darling, I have some good news for you and some bad. The good news is you're probably not going to have to worry about going on dates all that often because no self-respecting man is going to ever pay for your babysitter. And that's the good news. The bad news is by making a statement like that, by having an expectation like that, you're proving to every man out there that it's all about the money, that you think you're a princess that deserves to be taken care of. And I have to ask, what are you offering in return?
Don't just assume that I'm going to be able to drop off my child somewhere because most likely I'm not.
Well, I hate to break it to you again, darling, but that's not our problem. That's yours. You should have thought of that before you chose to have the kid and tossed the father aside. Speaking of which, why can't you simply leave him with the dad? Why are you expecting us to pay for a babysitter when there's a perfectly good parent out there that could do it for free?
Offer to pay for the babysitter. That's going to make me more receptive to want to go and spend my time with you.
Or to put it another way, the only way we get to spend time with you is if we exchange money for it. There's a word for that, and it's on the tip of my tongue. It starts with P, but the rest of it's eluding me right now. But this is the mindset of today's modern women. Their time, their attention, and ultimately their affection is not something that they're going to offer of their own free will. And by not offering them of their own free will, they're actually objectifying themselves. And they don't even realize it. They're turning themselves into a commodity, something to be bought and sold. As my dear friend who's an old school feminist often says, they're destroying decades of work, where women fought to be seen as human beings, not objects. And it also begs the question, one that every man should be asking, which is, what is she offering in return? So far, she hasn't mentioned a damn thing other than her time. Well, I can think of a lot better things that I could get for my money than a few minutes of her time. So as I said earlier, she's got good news and bad news. The good news is she won't have to worry about this problem because the men she actually would want to be with aren't going to want to be with her. And they certainly aren't going to want to pay to take care of her kids. That's her job, not theirs. And the bad news is, ultimately, she's going to end up blaming the men for rejecting her because of her wants, her needs, her desires, and her narcissism. No self-respecting man is going to be interested in a woman like this, no matter how good she looks, how much money she makes, or any of the other stuff that women like to claim makes them attractive. That's the reality, though the ladies will never accept it, which is why instead of acknowledging it and making changes, they do what pretty much every one of today's modern women does. Blame the men for it and absolve themselves of any accountability or responsibility.